Good day. Today I want to take a look at an interview that I think is a pretty relevant, and it's of course from the late and great Ronnie James Dio, and I always kind of looked up to him musically for a few reasons, um, and his straightforwardness about things, and I remember. Um, Him bringing a bunch of metal musicians together uh, for that weird stars thing, and I had forgotten all about it until a friend reminded me, and it I I don't think sometimes people realize the importance that this guy had in metal music and in laying the ground. I know a lot of people do, but newer generations could really do good to listen to some of the words from the great Mr. Ronnie James Dio. Let's check this out. This is him talking about the quality of metal, and I think some wise words are said here.
So I guess I want to know from you. I mean, do you think these stereotypes about metal musicians and metal fans still persist today, even though there is that kind of assumption that metal isn't around anymore?
Oh, I think it will never be. It will never go away. I think once you put, once you have little tissues that come out of a box and you blow your nose on them, they're going to be called Kleenex for the rest of our lives because that's what we call them. Jello is Jello. These are all brands, but I think that once you've labeled something in such a strong manner, I think those preconceived notions will probably always be there. I doubt very much that this is going to change too many people's perception of what we're talking about. But once again, it's interesting to find out what the real truth is, and I'm sure that this will reveal that.
Mm-hmm. I reviewed our interview that we did at the Vaughan Festival and looked over a lot of things that we had talked about, and it not surprisingly was a very positive conversation about the positive aspects of heavy metal and heavy metal culture. And I can just talk through while this is happening because no one actually needs to hear my voice, but I think we got 12 of them, so it's the most, right?
This one goes up to 13.
And I guess
Of course it does.
I'd like to ask you the question is, what don't you like about metal?
What I don't, well, that could go a lot of different ways. What I don't like about it is the fact that it doesn't get any attention, of course, but that's not really what you're alluding to. What I don't like about it, I sometimes don't like how easy it seems for musicians to say, I'm going to be a heavy metal musician, and then not do it well. I think that bothers me the most, that it seems such an easy route to go because the Marshalls can be turned up to 10. What comes out of it is normally a rhythm first anyway, and then an attitude. But what happened to the guitar players? What happened to the singers? I found that it has become too easy an avenue to just go out and flail away at your instrument and screech away at your voice or mumble away. That bothers me. That does, because I came from a place where my peers were like guys from Zeppelin and Deep Purple, and and then later on from Judas Priest and from Maiden, all the people that I respect, who can sing and play and
Sing their asses off.
Again, good social conscience, or people that make me proud to do this. So the thing that bothers me most is the fact that it's probably, again, too easy an avenue to just go out and flail away. And I think that demeans what all the rest of us have tried to do. Other than that, there's nothing that I don't like about it. Musically, I love it. I love it because it's all about the attitude. I always wanted to be in a band that just went out and went, how loud can we be tonight? And how strong can we be tonight? That's just something that always attracted me as a musician. And I think that's one of the things that attract fans as well. The fact that it is so damn aggressive all of the time. And You know, I mean, to me, it's always been the difference between if I'm going to, if in my younger days, if I was going to have to play a show with other bands, and if one of them was a band who was very popular, but were playing pop music, even though there were a lot of people there to see them, and we were next, that was the best part of it all, because then it was like, wow, check this out. I was
Game on.
heavy. That's what I always wanted to be. I was so proud to play heavy music. No matter what came before us, no matter how successful it was, we knew there was always 2 or 3 people in that audience going, yeah, that's what it's all about. So, you know, that's what I love the most about it, is the music and what it has allowed me to do, which is to be as aggressive as possible and to play really heavy music, but still with hopefully some great musical ethics.
Are you an aggressive person?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm quite, you know, laid back when there's nothing going on that bothers me.
Right there is a perfect example of his brutal honesty. Most people, if you ask them a question like that, they would perceive it as, no, I'm a nice guy. He's very forthright with, yep, I'm aggressive, I'm pushy, I'm, you know, whatever. I'm not trying to put words into his mouth, but you get my point. These qualities, when you hear an honest answer from somebody about themselves that may be perceived by other people to not be such a good quality, you know, or may, you know, to them they might not like that as a quality. For somebody to still be honest, that's a good hint that that person is an honest person. Because if they're being honest about themselves, about something that could be perceived as a negative, then chances are they're going to be honest with you about things that you might not like, or about things that, you know, but they're going to be honest. And, you know, that's, people have a problem with being able to accept honesty these days. I think, you know, people like him are very, you know, refreshing. But that's the point that I'm trying to make, though, that he's very honest and forthcoming about things.
But yes, I am an aggressive person. I don't think you become successful unless you're aggressive. But then again, there are different kinds of aggression. There's violent aggression and there's sensible aggression. I think I'm a more sensible, aggressive person. I look around me and see what's happening in the world, and I know that those are going to affect my decisions. I listen to the music, I observe the people around me within the music I make, and I decide how I have to use my own aggression. But yes, I'm aggressive because I want to succeed, and I'm aggressive because I'm opinionated. And what you have to do is, it's easy to be opinionated and aggressive, but you have to prove that you're worthy to be opinionated and aggressive. And I think that's what I've always tried to do. Hopefully I've achieved,
see what I mean?
85% of that way. Well, yeah, I'm aggressive.
What you can hope to do.
I think we talked a little bit about this before.
This cameraman is killing me.
We're trying to work out, or you know, or at least talk about in this documentary is that whole aggression and violence association with metal. And I think that
this guy got fired, right?
I don't know if we'll be able to say metal people are this way in one way or not, but it strikes me that you know that maybe metal people aren't all that aggressive, and that this becomes the only vehicle. Because actually,
it's very Indian,
consider myself to be a very aggressive
Native American.
And I think that I often think maybe the reason why that is because I've always had this place. So whatever I have of aggression within me, whatever is there is expressed through this music.
Absolutely.
Whether I play it or listen to it or what.
Of course, that's the whole secret. That is exactly the secret to it all. It is a release of aggression. This kind of music, if you go to a concert and you see people, you know, as you will obviously in this film, you'll see people out there reacting, you know, very, you know, from headbanging to, you know, just very, very aggressive attitude. But that's the whole point of it. They go to that show, and by the time the show's over, the aggression has been expressed. And they just go on their way. Let's go have a couple beers. You know, I don't find metal people aggressive after the fact. I find them no more
rated
aggressive than people who who destroy a town after an NBA championship game or after a hockey championship game. It seems to be very fashionable that if you win the championship, then you better destroy the town.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand that one, and I've never really seen that happen to metal crowds because their aggression has been expressed.
Very rarely.
All right, I feel so much better now. I mean, I think it's the perfect release for aggression. I think all psychiatrists and psychoanalysts should prescribe go to metal shows, go scream and yell your head off, and then you'll probably be pretty happy after that. You are a great example. You know, you don't appear to be an aggressive person. I'm sure I don't appear to be an aggressive person sitting here either, because we release our aggression
Right.
through the music. And I think that that's always been my feeling about this. That's what allows me not to be a violent, aggressive person. But hey, we've had some pretty stunning riots going on in pop concerts and in other places as well. And people are what people are. If you piss them off, they're probably going to get rather violent if you piss them off. Any audience. So I think that it's a real misnomer to attach
Violence.
aggression to blanketly to metal music.
Yeah. It's very. It's not. It's not a fair, stereotype to act like, metalheads are violent, or, and it's just like he just said, people will tell you, people will be like, why do you listen to that music? It's so violent. It's like, I listen to this music so I don't become violent. It's, I think some people just, don't understand, or don't. I think some people don't use music to its full potential. They're very surface level with their music. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. If it's bringing you joy, if it passes your time, if it does the thing that you want it to do, great. But there are those of us who need and require our music to be and to stand for a little bit more. It's more of a part of us, and it's a beautiful thing, think about it. On a normal day, if I told you, let's go stand in a crowd, all arm in arm with a bunch of other sweaty people thrashing and trailing around. Why would I want to do such a thing? Oh, well, Dio's going to be there. Whoa! What? That's all you had to say, man. Why'd you say it the other way? Just tell me we're going to a Dio concert and we'll be there. You see what I'm saying? It's a silly point, but that togetherness and that release that everybody has together, it's a magical thing. And these are words that Mr. Dio has, said time and time again about what the power of music and the power of metal. And I really think, with the true person that gave us the horns, he would know, and he wouldn't be douchey enough to try to patent said horns or copyright them things, because that's a douchey thing to do. But just some things that I think really ring true about some of the other things he had to say about making it too easy. I don't necessarily think he's putting down what people would call screamo music. I hate that term. I cannot stand it. It just tells me that you don't, you have a very small, limited knowledge of music. Um, but I use it jokingly in this to make a point. I I think that sometimes, yes, the bar might be lowered because of stylistically people might get, but it seems that at the end of the day, the ones that are garbage or the ones that really aren't the real ones weed themselves out. People that have been in this scene or understand metal understand that, yeah, you hear screaming, growling, and all this stuff, but do you understand how not easy that is to do and how hard it is to maintain some of these, vocal styles? And it's every bit as talented and every bit as impressive as the stuff that Rob Halford, Ronnie James Dio, Bruce Dickinson, the list goes on. They're, yes, they are up on the upper end, like where I would put Floor Jensen and stuff like that. These people are like, the classically trained type people where even if the ones in some of the where bands where they got the growls and the roars and all that, stuff that we've come to love, um, I think, you know, when Sepultura and those bands came up with like, Arise, Chaos AD or whatever, that really started pushing those envelopes. The hardcore scene melded with that. I just these things started marrying together, and all these aspects gave us that hardcore, that new metal, that stuff that we are hearing today. A normie might hear Jonathan Davis do his guttural growls and his, but it's today's version of the Scooby Dooby 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 Wop. The stuff that like Mel Torme and people like that were putting out with their voice. It might have sounded easy, but try it. See how silly you sound. It's the same thing. It's just a new version of it. And whether Jonathan Davis got inspiration from Mel Torme, which, hey, maybe it's that same type of using the voice as an instrument, doing something different out of the box, and something that at the end of the day, hey, that might sound easy. Turns out, not so much. All these people, that act like, oh, it's just screaming and yelling and all that. Really? Can you scream and yell in key? Even if it is just screaming and yelling, can you do it in key? Can you do it in time? Can you do the right notes? There's a lot more than people think to it, and I know, that a lot of people probably watching this understand that, but I think there's those parallels there, and I think, there's a lot of singers and stuff that, Mr. Dio would be totally floored and impressed by today. I think that, we still have a good selection and a nice broad menu of stylistic, insane singers that have taken inspiration from this man, and people just like him. yeah, I thought this was something cool to talk about. You know, we we've really gotten a lot from Mr. Dio and people just like him. Once again, people that have set the stage, so to speak, and I hope some of the stuff I'm laying down here makes sense. But I really think it's neat to look back at music and draw some parallels that even though they might not purposely be connected, they are. And it's like how they say, history, it doesn't repeat, it rhymes. Well, oddly enough, it does the same thing in music. And yeah, I think some really cool words of wisdom here, and some food for thought as well. And maybe for some of you that have looked at some of this styles of singing or whatever, you don't necessarily have to like it, but perhaps maybe rethinking the way that understand it or think you understand it, that it's not as easy as it sounds, and it's just not your cup of tea. But these people work hard and kick ass doing it. I hope you are all having a great day. We got more stuff we're going to check out just like this, and just all sorts of neat stuff we're going to be digging into. Got a lot of suggestions on things we should look at and talk about. What do you think about what I had said? You agree, disagree, indifferent? Don't even care? Should we do more stuff like this? Let me know in the comments. And like, subscribe if you want more stuff like this. And let me know. We'll do plenty more vids. I'm open to suggestions. Have a great day out there, everybody. We'll catch you in the next one.